here's what you gotta know about living in Syracuse. Number one, our homes aren't just affordable, they have a lot of history behind them. Neighborhoods like Strathmore and Sedgwick, you'll find absolutely beautiful Tudor homes with a lot of wood and older finishes that people just simply love in today's modern day and age. 2,000 to 3,000 square foot home will only cost you around $250,000 to $350,000. And what's even better about this is all the original finishings are still prevalent. You know, when our clients call us, they say, I like Syracuse because of the older rustic vibe, because it's an area that simply isn't getting the recognition that it deserves. In this one, I want to talk to you about what it's like to live in Syracuse, New York, to make sure you have all the facts. My name is Gagan, I'm your local realtor, and here's the kicker. Even though these homes are definitely on the older sides, no one's saying they have to stay old. You can absolutely add smart technology. Syracuse contractors oftentimes cost 30 to 40% less than other major cities, and it makes sense. If the cost of living is overall less, then obviously they're going to charge less for, well, activities. You're not going to get someone to work here and also work in Miami for the exact same price. That's just not how the lifestyle affordability aspect of it work out. When one of our clients, Mary, just moved to Syracuse, she called us and said, Gagan, I cannot believe that there's this much snow. And that's absolutely something that you got to know. Snow isn't just a burden, it's an economy. Let me explain. Syracuse has developed some of the best de-icing and snowplow systems around. It's people that work in the snow economy and people that work as snow drivers and people that work to take care of that can earn up to $70 per hour. Over here, it's not just that snow is annoying and kind of icky here and there. It's a real problem. We were named the snowiest city in all of America. And let me tell you, they ain't lying. You see, our videos are evergreen, meaning you can watch them at any time, but with the decorations in the back, I'm sure you can tell when we're shooting this. And especially now during December, it is absolutely crazy how bad it really gets. Let me tell you, you want to make sure that you have an all-wheel drive car and ultimately you're comfortable with all that snow. Roads get hectic and absolutely busy, and oftentimes people see themselves sticking for 30, maybe even 45 minutes longer just in the road. So if that snow is going to affect you and you're just not okay with it, I would probably dip out of Syracuse altogether. You see, we got permission to share this, so I'm going to tell you this quick story. We had one of our clients reach out to us and say, hey, listen, I'm thinking about making a move to Syracuse. And when we asked them what their career field was, they said tech. We had another client reach out to us and they said tech again. And we started to realize that this trend was absolutely apparent. Tech in Syracuse is booming, but it's also in disguise. Places like Micron are 1,000% booming in the tech sector, and overall companies are absolutely continuously growing. Beyond just Micron, companies like Tech Garden incubate startups focusing on green energy and AI. And there's also so many other things that are actively happening here that we're slowly turning into a tech hub. Now the caveat is obviously we're oftentimes going to be overshadowed by bigger cities like New York City and Buffalo as a whole. But let me tell you, Syracuse is continuously growing more often than not. And I'm really excited to see how it keeps on happening and ultimately how it keeps on shaping itself into becoming a tech sector. Micron is talking about adding 50,000 additional jobs and 100 billion with a B of net worth here in just Syracuse. By now, many of you probably already know that I'm a foodie. Let me tell you, I love a good place to eat. Especially as a Nepali person, oh my God, I gotta make sure that dish is cooked correctly. So when I tell you that Syracuse has food, we're a foodie's paradise, I ain't lying. Let me make sure that you understand, we've got something for everyone. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. The food festival is absolutely crazy. And on top of that, we've got cooking meals from every kind of ethnicity. One of the biggest things that Syracuse is known for is our salted potatoes. And they tried copying it over there in New York City, but they just couldn't do as good of a job. It's this unique blend of just food that only exists here. And obviously not just that, we've got something for everyone to make sure that they feel like home. Let me tell you, Syracuse University has so many kids, and obviously they're coming from all over the country and all over the world. We want to make sure they've got some kind of food that they can eat, and ultimately, we want to make sure that they're feeling happy and still homey. You know, I've never really been too much into art. I've never really been an arty guy. And then I had one of my friends take me to a few places, and I was like, oh shoot, this was actually pretty dope. The one thing I will never understand is how a banana taped to a wall was sold for $6 million. Now, obviously we don't have that in Syracuse, but we do have art, let me tell you. One of the biggest things is our art revival. And overall, it's the Connective Corridor, which just was funded by a $44 million grant to transform downtown Syracuse into an arts lover paradise. Places like Point of Contact have absolutely beautiful contemporary artists and also funk and waffles, but the name kind of just explains itself. Let me tell you, we've got artists around, and there's absolutely something for everyone to enjoy as well. It's not just one kind of music, there's different kind of hips and vibe as well. If you're into casinos and you're into gambling, we've also got Del Lago. That's got its own fair share of fun things. And then also Darien Lake has a ton of musicians and artist festivals all throughout summer that gets super vibrant and awesome. You see, one of my friends, Jean, was looking for a commercial space, and when we told him that we had a ton here in Syracuse, he didn't believe me, because what he thought was that we had these old and rustic things that were just kind of terrible and couldn't be used. We found him the perfect commercial space at a really, really good discounted price, and let me tell you, he turned it into an absolutely amazing, amazing location. I'm gonna see if he'll let me share it with you. But when we tell people that our overall warehouses and everything else is kind of on the older side, they always take it as a negative. Now, obviously, we're gonna have to put some work into it and give it a little bit of love. But it gives so much more availability for creativity and for entrepreneurs to really figure out what specifically that they want and make it as vibrant and amazing as possible, which if you enjoy that and you're an artist and you love that creativity factor of it, this is gonna be absolutely golden. Now, most often than not, when our clients are reaching out to us, they usually have children and they wanna make sure that their kids are going to the best public schools. Syracuse has some of the best schools in all of New York. And it's not just me that's saying this, it's actually data that's backing it up. Fayetteville-Manlius School District is one of the top 5 in the entire New York State Public District. And on top of that, you've also got places like Jamesville, DeWitt, that is one of the best suburbs all around. I'll show niche.com's rating for both these places so you can see it's not just me who's saying it, but when you are thinking about education, you're thinking about your kids obviously going somewhere where they can make sure that they learn, Syracuse has that in the bag. We've got some of the best schools in all of New York, and on top of that, they're gonna go to Syracuse University afterwards and then get a job with potentially Micron or some kind of tech hub, making it so that every single thing that's happening in the economy stays in the economy. Ultimately making sure that they're safe, they've got educations, and they've got good jobs to go with that as well. You know, I absolutely would recommend getting a car when you move to Syracuse, New York. But if you don't have one, that's totally cool. Because one of the craziest things that we realize is, especially with the metro, with everything that's happening here, public transportation is dirt cheap. Granted, I haven't ridden in a public transportation bus in probably a little while now. But the last time I checked, the average price was around $60. I remember a few years back, it was like $30. It's still cheaper compared to New York City, which is like $150 or something. Obviously, transportation is super important when you're getting from point A to point B, and I think Syracuse has that covered. We want to make sure that, especially on days that it's absolutely snowing or you just don't have that car, you've got public transportation to take care of you. One of the nice things about Syracuse is our commute is only about 18 minutes from point A to point B, so it's nothing crazy. Like you're living in New York City or even LA. So many people don't even know what this is, but we have one of the biggest curling leagues in all of the country. Curling is when you know, it took me a long time to realize what curling was, but we have one of the biggest curling leagues in the entire country. And really the snow, it brings and fosters a sense of community that you really just won't find anywhere else. We actually have Winterfest, where everyone comes together and brings their food, we conglomerate, and we eat the good stuff. But let me tell you, the snow, it's something that you have to make sure that you're okay with. The snow is absolutely nuts, right? It's not like you're living in Texas or Miami or even California where you're getting a little bit of snow maybe once a year. No, we get snow. You have to make sure that you're okay with all 4 seasons, because if you're not, Syracuse simply will not be the right fit for you. We keep talking about the one thing, which is SAD, or seasonal affective disorder, and it's a legitimate thing. Especially now as I'm shooting this video, I'll actually show you outside. Check this out. What time do you think it is right now? Ready? Yeah. 7 o'clock, which obviously goes to show that it gets really, really bad. Now, granted, we want to make sure that we've got friends and family and everyone else to take care of us, and obviously with people to enjoy, that's an important part. But if you're just not someone that can really vibe with the cold, you're not someone that can really enjoy that, this simply will not be the right fit for you, and you will be miserable. I kind of want to bring it back to food, because obviously that's legit, right? The Franklin Automotive Company was actually founded in Syracuse in the 20th century. Our food industry was absolutely popping. Let me tell you, we make some good stuff here, and we're the reasons why you have food truck where you live right now. You're welcome. But more than anything else, we want to make sure that Syracuse as a whole is always taken care of in that instance, because a lot of the clients that reach out to us, especially from YouTube, are absolutely foodies just like myself. And listen, if you're thinking about making Syracuse home, you're thinking about calling it home, I'll put our QR code right here. Give us a call, shoot us a text. We'd love to chat with you and see where we can obviously take this, because Syracuse is something that's super duper unique. Obviously, I want to bring it back, right? Our home prices are on the lower end compared to most of the national cities, but people are slowly but surely starting to realize that. We're having more and more people reach out and give us a call every single week, every single day, because they're seeing Syracuse as a hidden gem that people just simply don't know about. The infrastructure might be on the older side, but it's not completely old. And even though it's rustic, that's kind of a vibe right now, and people 1000% love that. So is Syracuse perfect? Not by a long shot, but there's also a ton of things that absolutely make it unique. I want to make sure that Syracuse is the right fit for you, so I actually did a video on why you shouldn't move to Syracuse. It's right here. Watch it. I'll see you soon. Bye.